Hey, this is Ray Dombrowski. Today I want to show you an old graphic designer's secret method to make top-notch typographic designs and t-shirt graphics. Say if you're using a low-resolution photo or a scratchy hand-drawn element along with some perfectly clean edge vector type. Normally these elements just don't look good together. But this graphic designer's secret was to wait for the office photocopy machine to get out of alignment or run out of toner, and then to take that design and make a copy of a copy of a copy until just the right amount of texture was achieved. The problem is today's copiers are more reliable, making it very unlikely that you can achieve this effect before your project deadline. That's why I made the bad photocopy texture template. Now you can run your graphics through the template and get great looking texture in colored and layered files and go from this clean, boring design to something nice and vintage like this. Let me show you how it works. So here's my design in Photoshop. You'll see that I've got some vector type that's really clean on top, and then I've got this Econoline pickup with some surfboards in the back, and the Econoline is partially a photograph and it's partially hand-drawn. In the background I've got Diamond Head, which is on the south shore of Oahu, and that was kind of based off of a photo, and it's pretty vectory looking. Here I've got three different elements that kind of look clean but kind of look scratchy and just really don't look very cohesive, and it's kind of boring. And let me show you my trick to making this thing look really cool and vintage. So I'm going to take each separate layer one at a time. And first I'll take the type and I'll just select all and go Command C to copy it. And then I'm going to open my bad photocopy texture template. And you'll see when you open this, it has a bunch of layers. But the top layer, it says double click to add your art. So you'll double click on this thumbnail. And that opens a smart object. And you're just going to paste in that type, and it's white, so it's a little hard to see now. But the trick here is we want to turn that type to almost black, like a 93, 94, 95% black. So let's just go to our levels, Command L, turn our levels till it almost gets to a nice black. Now you can use a black. I just think you'll get a little bit better, more realistic results if you use kind of a really dark gray. So let's just click OK, and then let's save that smart object, and we'll go back to our bad photocopy texture template. And you'll see we have a background here of bad photocopy texture. In this case, we're not actually wanting to make it look like a bad photocopy on white paper. So let's just turn that off. That's the bottom layer here. Just by default, I think this looks really good, but I'll just go into this layer group here. It's called choose an image texture, and you can turn on or off different amounts of textures. You can combo these textures up if you want a really textured distressed look. I'm just going to keep this grit 02 visible, and let's see what the other ones are. There's some horizontal streaks that are visible. And I think that looks good. So let's just do a Command A and then a Command Shift C. That's a copy merged. So that flattens everything while you're copying it. And now we'll go back to our original design. And instead of pasting into the layers here, what we want to do is paste into the channels. And if you've never done this before, I'll show you why it's so good. So we're in our channels panel here. You just click this little button here to make a new channel. And let's go ahead and make the background white. So we'll just hit delete. And then let's go Command V to paste in that type. Now this is in a channel, it's not in a layer. So to get it into the layer, let's do a Command click on that alpha channel. Or you can do a select load selection and then pick that alpha channel. And it makes a selection out of whatever's white. So we want to select inverse. So you can just go select inverse, and I have that set up as a hotkey on my system. And let's go ahead and hide the original type, make a new layer, and go Edit, fill, and let's fill with the white. So you can see where I'm going with this already. We have a really nice textured look in these letters. I'll just zoom in a little bit. And you'll also notice with this bad photocopy texture template that sort of the outlines are a little thicker and less distressed than the inside of the type or the area that you've applied the effect to. And when you do a real photocopy texture, you make a copy of a copy of a copy, and you look at it really close, that's how it looks. So to make this cohesive, we want to apply that to the vehicle and also the mountain in the background. So let me just go Command A, Command C, and I've got this layer highlighted with the Econoline van in it. And we've copied that, and let's go back in. We can go straight back into that smart object and go Command V to paste. Let's hide the letters since we don't need those anymore. And just to make sure this isn't a pure black, let's just make it a little lighter with our levels again. Just click OK and then save, and then we can go back into our bad photocopy texture template. Now let me show you a couple other textures here, and this might be easier. You know what I'm going to do is I'm going to just paste in a white background just so you can see a little better. Let's take off the visibility of those horizontal stripes and the grit, and let's just pick a different texture. This one's called Heavy Texture. I think that one's a little too much. That one's Heavy Texture 02. That one's also too much. Heavy Texture 06. I think what I'm going for, that's probably a little too much. Those vertical streaks are pretty nice, but I think we want to keep it horizontal so it'll look cohesive with our type. So let's just turn on a few of these. I think that looks pretty good, just regular horizontal streaks. 03, that's a little too much. Horizontal streaks 02, that looks really good. Maybe we'll just add some grit. This is called Grit Light, and you'll notice it didn't really do anything, but the thing we can do is move that texture around a little bit, and oh, there we go. Now that looks really good. So I think that combination of textures looks really good. So let's go Command A and then Command Shift C. So we're getting everything in there, the texture, the Econoline van, and the background when we copy merged. And let's go back into our design and create a new channel, and let's just fill that channel with white. And let's go paste our new van in, and you'll see all that texture is in there. If you want to make this texture more contrasty, you can play with the levels. You know, you can just turn up that grit if you want. Maybe we'll make it a little blacker and then make the midtones a little whiter. So that just up the contrast. Again, we'll Command click on that channel to make a selection, and we'll go select inverse and then go back to our layers, and you'll see our selection's a little off from the original graphic, and that's okay. Let's turn off that graphic, make a new layer, and then go edit, fill, and let's fill with black. And let's just deselect, and this thing already is looking way better. Let's just put it into place there so it matches up with the diamond head crater behind it. And last but not least, let's do Diamond Head, the crowning jewel of Oahu. Let's go Command A, Command C. Again, we'll go straight back into that smart object. Go Command V to paste it in. It doesn't really matter where it lands. And let's just hide the Econoline. Now we want to change this to a dark gray. So let's go Image, Adjustments, Desaturate to take all the color out of it. And we need to make this a little darker. Let's go Command L, and we'll adjust our levels till we get a pretty dark gray there. And let me zoom into this thing before we apply the texture to it. See how it looks really vectory and streamlined and just really computery? I think that's sort of a bad look that you almost always want to get away from. And this texture template is so good at removing that. So let's save that and then go back to our bad photocopy texture template, and you'll see that the texture's in there. And this diamond head crater is in the background of our composition, so I think it'll be nice if we actually turn up the amount of distress and make it a little lighter. So let's just click around in the layers here, make some of them visible, some of them invisible, and just see if we can get a good combination. So I'll turn that one on. Light texture looks good. Now again, you can move these around, and let me drag that one around a little bit because I think that looks really nice. I think maybe some more horizontal streaks in there will look nice. I think that looks pretty good. That looks good. You know, that texture is way too heavy, but maybe if we move it up out of the way. Yeah, I think that looks pretty good. So now again, we'll go Command A to select all, and then we'll copy merged by going Command Shift C and go back to our graphic. We're almost there. Let's go to channels, make a new channel, fill it with white, Command V to paste it in there, Command click on that channel to select it, select inverse, then let's go back to our RGB layers, and again the diamond head crater's in the wrong place, but just to make sure we get the right color, let's take an eyedropper of the original color. So we have that as our foreground color here now. And let's hide the original diamond head, make a new layer, and go Edit, Fill, Foreground Color. And you won't see it till I move it up. And that looks pretty darn good. You know, I'm wondering if it's a little too light, so maybe let's just drag a duplicate down here. Yeah, that looks really good. So maybe we can just merge these layers together. So now we have that diamond head as one piece. So that's how you do it. I think this template is really magic. I use it a ton in my own designs. To find out more, just follow the links below the video. Thanks for watching.